Hi, I'm John Maxwell. When the top companies in the world are looking for trainers, speakers, and coaches, there's one name that stands above the rest, and that's Maxwell Leadership. Our certified team members have gotten proven results for companies all over the globe, and our reputation, I'm proud to say, is second to none. Some of our members have risen to the top of their profession, including the one you're going to meet today. I proudly introduce you to my friend Bob Fabian Zinka.
Welcome to the Leadership and Success Podcast with your host, Coach BZ, where we help you lead with purpose and succeed with impact. If you're ready to grow into the kind of leader others want to follow, this podcast is for you. If you're determined to elevate your success and leave a lasting legacy, this podcast is for you. As my mentor, Dr. John C. Maxwell reminds us, everything rises and falls on leadership. Our goal is simple: to inspire you, challenge you, and equip you with insights that can transform the trajectory of your leadership journey. Welcome aboard to another episode of the Leadership and Success Podcast with Coach BZ.
At PIQSTAR Positivity, we spotlight stories that inspire hope and embody the true meaning of humanity. These narratives will ultimately help us navigate the challenges we face in America. It's crucial that despite any evils that may lurk, we continue to hold on to our faith, our deserving need for love, compassion, and most importantly, community. Here's a story that reflects what we can collectively strive for. I am Tam Lawrence, and I want you to know I see you, you matter, and together we are the difference.
When this baby boy entered the world in Lafayette, Louisiana in 2018, his parents, Connie Despani and Benjamin Hall, named him Kingston. But they didn't have a middle name. It came to them by chance, in the form of a handwritten letter that they had received at the hospital. Kingston was just minutes old. A surveillance camera at Lafayette General Medical Center captured a stranger asking for directions so that she could deliver that letter. Who was she?
To my dad's angel, even though I will never know.
All right. Welcome to another special episode of the Leadership and Success Podcast. I am Coach BZ, your host, and we have a very, very special guest today. I'm so excited to be talking to her. But before I bring her in, we have what we call here our moment of gratitude. We just want to take a quick moment to be grateful for something each and every time that we meet. Part of the reason why we do this, as many of you know, is because in the military, it's about 22 veterans who commit suicide every single day. And we believe it's not possible to be suicidal and at the same time be grateful. So for me right now, I am really grateful for freedom. I believe every human being was meant to be absolutely free. And I'm so grateful for great guests on this show, like Ms. Tam Lawrence, who is here with us, who take time to come speak to our audience. So very, very grateful for that. So let me see if I can properly introduce today. So I am excited to welcome Ms. Tam Lawrence to the Leadership and Success Podcast today. This is season 5, episode 172, if you can believe it. We're going to have a conversation about what it really means to stop waiting for permission and start building. Tam is a publicist, a journalist, a publisher, a brand architect, a strategic communication executive, author, broadcaster, entrepreneur, playwright, and civic media innovator whose career spans more than 2 decades. She's the founder and CEO of PIQSTAR Inc., PBC, a Wisconsin public benefit corporation focused on civic media infrastructure and the force behind Exposure Plus TV. Her journey has crossed the stage, newsroom, statehouse, public relation, publishing, entrepreneurship, advocacy, and media ownership. But what makes Tam's story especially compelling to me is the evolution behind those accomplishments, right? She learned how to tell stories. She helped others tell the story, and she published stories. She built platforms to distribute stories. And now she's working to help our community and journalists on the infrastructure that carries their stories forward. That is leadership. Part of what you're going to be learning today is the courage to build, why leaders must sometimes stop asking, where can I find an opportunity and start asking, what can I build right now? And betting on yourself, I think that's so important. That's something I know Oprah talked a lot about. What decades of entrepreneurship have taught Tam about reinvention, resilience, asking for help, and moving forward when success is anything but guaranteed. And we're also going to be talking about briefly about two best selling books, but also leadership in the artificial intelligence era, right? What happens to trust, to authenticity, journalism, and human storytelling as AI is continuing to transform how information is produced and distributed. So, without any further ado, please help me welcome to the Leadership and Success Podcast, the one and only Miss Tam Lawrence. All right. Good morning, Tam. How are you doing today?
I'm fine. How are you?
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. I've been looking so forward to speak to you. Just to get started, what is one thing you are grateful for today, ma'am?
Just being able to wake up and just
Yes.
know who God is in my life is good for me. Hmm.
Wow, that is so powerful. Is there something about you that most people may not know when they first meet you? Something unique or maybe a superpower?
Whew. Oh boy. Um, I'm truly no nonsense. I think that is really special about me.
Hmm.
Um, and and I'm pretty straightforward. I think. I'm just.
Love it.
I hope that answers. Mm.
Yes, yes, but my goodness, like I said in the introduction, you have accomplished so much. My goodness, is there anything that you do not do? And in addition to everything I just mentioned, you are also a songwriter because I've listened to some of your songs. Actually, one of your songs inspired me to write not one but two articles about the Honorable Andrew Young. It's just amazing how much talent you've got. Wow.
Mm. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Composing music is my love language. And
Hmm.
so the stories that some may tell in journalism, in articles
Yes.
and editorials and exposés, and I tell a story about pain and love in
Hmm.
music. Hmm.
Wow,
And
that
also
is
celebration.
yes, so powerful. No, like I say, looking at you, no, you are a journalist, a publisher, a publicist, an entrepreneur, author, broadcaster, playwright, songwriter, founder, on and on and on and on. My goodness, it never stops. But uh, every leader has an origin story. So before the companies, the TV platform, the books and headline, who are you at your core, or who was Tam Lawrence, and what experiences most shaped the woman and leader you are today?
Mm. I think that through pain, I manifested greatness.
Mm.
I believe that God does not just endow us with one talent. A lot of times, the human concept of life is that there is only one thing that we can be good at, but God has gifted me with numerous talents, and I use them all. I will never be the
Mm.
man who said, God gave me a talent and I didn't use them. I use them all,
Yes.
and I think that what makes everything amazing is that I don't have a good plan. I got a God's plan. And so I always believe that in life, never let your calling take you where your character can't show up. No matter
Wow.
which
You've got to
place,
say that again. My goodness.
no
Wow.
matter where I go in life, all
Don't
of it
let your
is about
calling take you where your character.
don't let your calling take you where your character can't show up.
Wow, that would preach. Oh my goodness. Powerful.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. 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 That is my mantra, and I live by that. A lot of people jump into lanes that they think might be the best lane based on what's trending.
Yes.
But everything that you mentioned, a lot of times people say, "Oh, it's so much. You're doing so much," but
Mhm.
everything is based around communication and media. And
Wow.
I don't go outside of my realm. Like, you don't hear me
Mhm.
saying, "Hey, I'm a finance major," or "I'm an attorney," or, this kind of thing. I
Yes.
do believe wholeheartedly when you love what you do, you understand the
Mhm.
ethos of it, you embrace every part of it. I don't love just one side of communication. I love the fact of distribution. That's why I own Exposure Plus
Mm,
TV. Then I also own the fact that you have to have something to be creative, that innovation could be captivated in, and that's
yes.
PIQSTAR. So PIQSTAR is my infrastructure.
Mm,
So every business, everything that you come in, and I didn't just start yesterday. I've been in business for myself for 30 years. I've never had a job.
wow.
So I don't I don't
Amazing.
I don't speak job. I don't speak corporate America. I only know what entrepreneurs do on a daily given day, and
Wow.
I think that that's most important. So when I say no nonsense, I don't have time to play with people who
Yes.
all have time to be novelists. Like, I'm not a novelist at anything that I do. I believe in perfecting it. And then I also believe in not ownership, but operating and publishing rights and things of that nature. So
Yes.
you have Keynote Speaker Hub, which is another one of the companies that I own.
Mm-hmm.
All of these things have, they all they revolve in one ecosystem.
Yes.
So there's no whole bunch of different companies. Everything is roadmap down to one situation, and that is
It's amazing.
visibility, communication, distribution, publishing, and
Mm-hmm.
understanding the core monetization of all of those facilities. Mhm.
Wow, that's really powerful. You remind me when Jesus said, "What for unto whomsoever much is given, of him shall be much required." I
Much
guess
is
there is the
required.
responsibility, isn't there, when you have so many gifts? Even though, in like you said, you have this ecosystem, it all makes sense now. But I mean, it is a lot. You are only one woman, but you are doing so much and adding so much value.
One more time. I'm very careful about how
Yes.
I let people speak into my life. So if you ever read the book for the four agreements,
Mm-hmm.
I have to agree with what you just said. I disagree with what you said based on the fact that there is no such thing as a lot in my life.
Yes. I love that.
I am allowed, God did not put me in a box where it said, oh, you can only do so much in 24 hours. That's
Mm-hmm.
man's conversation. But see, I
Yes.
live in Kairos, I live in the innate,
Mm-hmm.
which means that God gives me the ability to do whatever I want to do in 24 hours of man's timing. But
Yes.
he amplifies that, he magnifies that.
I love
And
that.
then miraculous miracles begin to kind of conform. And I have a team. So I love my
Yes.
team. And they're wonderful, amazing experts. They've been with me, some of them for over 15 years. Some people have been there
Wow.
for 12 years. But we have done an amazing and incredible job. I know how to
It's
align
amazing.
myself with go-getters, with
I
game
love it.
changers, innovators, people who don't limit me. Because the
Mm.
moment that they began to limit me, I walk. There's no need for me to stand on the same stage with people who have limitations, because the God that I serve is
Yes.
omnipotent, all knowing, and I can have
Wow.
anything. He said that through Christ
Yes.
that strengthens me.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So all things is possible.
All
That was
things
my
are possible.
mother's favorite scripture. So he says in Jeremiah 29, I have plans to prosper you, not to
Mm-hmm.
harm you. So
Yes.
it's humans who harm each other with the language and the things that we speak outside of our mouths. But I don't let people speak into my
Mm.
life, because I accept the fact that I am so amazing and incredible that I can do
Yes,
anything and
ma'am.
all things through Christ that strengthens me. So
Wow.
however people see their God, that's on them. That's not on me.
That is so, so powerful. Yeah, my mom loved that verse too. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. It's really the idea of not being limited by what other people think or say, right? Because your God is so much bigger than that. And wow,
Yes.
that is powerful. Thank you. You are preaching. I must tell you. So you have described a career that has crossed, entertainment, entrepreneurship, journalism, public relation, advocacy, and even the government. What is the common thread connecting all of those chapters of your life?
I would have to say that I grew up in a household in the Nation of Islam. when my parents were Pan-Africanists. My mother marched with Father Grappi. She owned 2 methadone clinics, and my dad worked in real estate. And so there were so many different pieces of them that I take with me every single
Mhm.
day, because their legacy lives on through me.
Yes.
And so one of the most important things is that when you find out, Huey Newton said this, when you die of self, you began to understand that your life was never meant for you. So
Mm.
then, in order for you to become a true advocate, you got to die yourself. And you got to understand that the gifts that God gave you aren't for you. Those gifts are to give, to help somebody else, to cultivate things that can help the community and move things forward. So for
Mhm.
me, every sense of business isn't capitalism, it's activism. How
Wow.
are you going to, and activism isn't about approaching things from the here and now. Activists truly are proactive, not reactive.
Wow. It's so powerful. I can tell this is going to be one of the most insightful podcasts for this year. Wow.
Well, thank you.
That is really, really powerful. It's simple, but it's really profound because your personal motto also is so powerful. You say winning is not an option; it is a requirement. Wow, what
For
does
sure.
winning really mean to you today?
Waking up every day knowing that I'm using my talents, I'm willing to give it all
Yes.
to ensure that whatever God has brought me here to do, I get it done.
Mm.
I need to get it done. And I love to love on people, and I
Yes.
love to see change, and not in a sense that we're gonna have a conversation and have another conversation about the conversation that we
Mm.
had before. That irritates me. I
Yes.
believe in activation and doing the work, not talking about it. People talk
Hmm.
about the work and they complain, 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 and do nothing at all. And I
Yes.
believe that that's not, God wants the fearlessness. And the
Wow.
fearless, the people who are fearless. I don't fear anything. There's nothing.
Hmm.
If we left here today, I have to say, God, I just thank you about this journey. Like I
Hmm.
had an amazing and incredible run.
Yes. That's really powerful. Now you've been
Yes,
doing this for
darling.
more than 20 years, and some of your team members have been with you for more than 15. Has
Mhm.
your definition of success changed through the years?
I think over the years, yes, because I lost my mom, my
Sorry to hear that.
grandmother, my little brother, and my
Wow.
uncle in 2 years. In the
Wow.
last couple of years, and we were a very small knit family, right?
Mhm.
And so that was it. It's just me and my sister left, right? So it's just
Wow.
me and my older sister. Me being always the matriarch and carrying a family,
Mm.
I started to understand that 7 years I was my mom's caregiver and she had dementia. But my mother had a lot of friends. My mother was an evangelist at a church. She had a plethora of friends, but these friends that
Mhm.
my mother had, they didn't show up when she was sick.
Oh my goodness.
They didn't come to the house and try to help me out or
Mhm.
whatever the case may be. So that taught me a lot about humans.
Wow.
Then there was the funerals, one after another, one after another. When you walk into the end of somebody else's life, you start
Mm.
to examine your own. So
Yes.
now I don't take people for granted, but I also don't let everybody into my life. And I
Yes.
choose the tables that I sit at because you
Mm.
could either be at the table on the menu. And at the end of the
Wow.
day, some people are tolerating you, not celebrating you. You got to decide which one that is. And then when you
Yes.
figure out exactly who Judas is at your table, or who is
Mm.
there, like Peter, who will claim you, who will be there to the
Yeah.
end and won't fall asleep. Jesus took the disciples up with him and
Mhm.
said, "Y'all stay right here and stay watch." And everybody fell
Yes.
asleep, right?
Yes.
Well, you have to understand who God has placed in your life.
Mm.
Because
Wow.
sometimes the things that hold you behind are the people that you chose.
Yes.
And so what I've learned is I now examine my relationships. I evaluate the strengths and I position
Mhm.
myself in a way in which I don't hurt them because I love people enough to lead them.
Yes.
And at the same time, I also make sure that the people who are here, I love on them. I make sure that I
Mhm.
support them because we only get one time to do this. There is no do-overs. There's
Yes.
no U-Haul trucks behind the funeral hearse. There was none of the things that my mother accomplished inside the casket other than herself.
Mm.
So, with that being said, after 30 years in business, I took everything and moved it from capitalism to activism.
Yes.
So I started building out my television network to now be more community orientated, knowing the power of media is so
Mm.
powerful. Media has the ability to make the innocent guilty and the guilty innocent.
Yes.
Media has the ability to shape the narrative and change our trajectory of how we see the world and how other people see us.
Mhm.
So telling stories isn't about sell, sell, sell. If that's the case, you have nothing really to offer the world.
Yes.
Because
Wow.
when you gotta sell something, it ain't nothing I really need. It's something you think I want. But when you are
Oh,
delivering in business something that people
yes.
essentially need to survive, then there
Mm.
is no sale. There's just a conversation about what the authenticity of the product is and what it delivers. And that
Yes.
is even in you. What do you deliver? How can
Mm.
you bring me value? And how can I add to your life?
Wow. That really builds trust, doesn't it?
Mhm.
Wow. I love it. Because you kind of remind me of Oprah in many ways. You have repeatedly bet on yourself, right? Rather than waiting
Mhm.
for somebody or an institution to validate you. And I really, really love that. No, to be frank, we are
Mhm.
living in America. America has always been good to Black people, especially women. But where did that courage come from?
When you've been through hell and high waters in your life, you have to find something that you believe in
Hmm.
and you better hold on with
Wow.
all dear life. And so, as a child, I had two of the most horrific things happen to any child.
Mm.
And that trauma put me on a path that I had no idea that I would, I had no idea I would end up here.
Yeah.
I went to Marquette University for psychology, social welfare, and justice. I left that particular studies after I graduated, came back, went to school
Mm.
for communication.
Wow.
During that time that I was in school for communication, my sister told me to go to this club, and I did this comedy show, and I won, which ended up being my career in comedy. I traveled around the
Mm.
country doing comedy. I performed live on BT Comic View. I used to
Wow.
open for Jamie Foxx and some more. So that took me to where, oh, I really know exactly where I want to take this communication degree, right?
Mm.
And I opened up art in Kinsley. I started with a public relations firm. You mentioned PR
Yes.
at the top of the show. Since then, I don't advertise public relations services to people. I do take referrals, but I'm
Mhm.
very clear on the fact that I don't look to represent everybody. I look
Yes.
for purpose driven brands. If it's
Mm.
not driven by purpose, on purpose, I won't do it. There's no need for me to do it.
Yes.
After doing 20 years in that business, I know now that I love brands that I can represent wholeheartedly and not
Mm.
proportion based on, what the world knows about them. I understand what you are behind closed doors. So when you get into business, you're like, I don't care who my clients are.
Mhm.
And then after a while, when you've been in this business and you start to learn the behind the scenes, I'll walk
Yes.
off on clients who are not authentic. If they're
Yes.
not who they say they are, there's no need to call me. I'm not
Yes.
interested. There's
Mm.
no need for us to talk. So I think that what we learn in business as success is when you start to feel the presence, a peace, and have that joy to do what it is you do
Yes.
best. A lot of
Wow.
people get so to me, if you're in business, it's a blessing because
Yes.
there's somebody else that's out there that's homeless. There's somebody that couldn't think of how to um, answer or resolve a consumer problem and be in
Yes.
business to do so. Some people didn't have the confidence. Whatever the case is, there is somebody that has it worse off than you. And that's that person that I'm looking for because I
Mm.
feel like God said the 99, but that one.
Yes. Yes.
And so my job is to find the one because
Wow.
I've always been a black sheep in business. Um, I overlooked, sometimes devalued,
Mm.
even as a publicist, working with celebs, you get
Yes.
treated like you the help. And so and I took it and I took it and I kept
Mm.
taking it. But what that builds is character.
Yes.
And you
Wow.
can't buy character, baby. Character comes with experience. I call it plant-based knowledge.
Mm.
And
So
over
powerful.
time, I was able to digest the landscape of what I had to do in order to discover who I am.
Yes.
And that said, you know what, Tam, we got a different direction and we're gonna go that
Wow.
way. So if I have to be the Harriet Tubman in media,
Yes.
I'm going to continue the journey and say that we can change and reclaim our screens for our children. So
Wow.
this part of my life, 50 plus now, I made it to the 50 club, so I'm good.
Yes, ma'am.
Made it to the 50 club. And so this part of my life is about really planting seeds for the
Mm.
future generations.
So
Um,
powerful.
and I think that's important. I think that we all discover when you get to this point. I didn't absorb a midlife crisis like something because every single day I was always worried about how do I spend that dash.
Mm.
So from 1970 something
Yes.
to today, how am I spending that dash?
Mm.
And so that matters to me. You know, one
Wow.
7 years of my dash I spent taking care of my mother, which was fabulous. That was my golden girl. I love my mother. Not like, hey, that's my mom and I love my mom. Like my mother was my best friend. My mother was my
Yes.
prayer warrior. My mother met me in the closet when we needed to pray
Mm.
together. My mother's taught me how to do graphic design work because she did the bulletins for the church. She
Wow.
did the obituaries for the church. She did the pastor's media collection and audited,
Mm.
doing his audio tapes and stuff like this. I admired who she was
Yes.
because in the daytime she was taking care of drug addicts and people who
Wow.
had addictions at the clinic, and at night my mother would be taking care of the church and Sunday school. And so I
Wow.
was like, I'm gonna be just like my mother one day. And then when I got into, psychology and seeing what it was to be a caseworker and taking care of
Mhm.
people, I was like, this ain't me.
Wow.
That's my mother. So God just said, you know what? You got all of this, but
Mhm.
you're gonna take it and you're gonna put it into this right here. And
Wow.
that's where PIQSTAR came. That's where
That's
Exposure
amazing.
Plus TV came. Is that you take so I always feel like your greatest pain is your greatest
Mhm.
gift.
Yes.
Whatever hurt you the most, if you just stood back and took the childlike
Mm.
you and said, okay, if I could do anything in the world right now, what would I do? And that's what I
Wow.
do. I say, if I could do anything in the world to change what is happening right now in society, what would I do? And so I think that when
Mm.
we pull on those heartstrings, and 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 when I say childlike you, the childlike you was innocent. The
Yes.
childlike you did not go through the traumas, the relationships. They didn't know
Mm.
that. So if you could find that childlike you, the innocent you, the one who wanted to do anything,
Yes.
that whatever that was, then you'll find your truest gift. You'll find
Wow.
what aligns with what God put you here. Yes, we went through trials and tribulations, but let me just say this: if you never went through a trial or tribulation in life, you wouldn't know it's a God to bring you out.
Mm-hmm. Wow. That is really, really profound. My goodness. I mean, this is a great segue to the
Mm.
next segment because you did say your greatest pain really could be your greatest gift. And you've spoken publicly about turning pain into purpose. What does that phrase really mean to you? Not as a slogan, but really as something you've actually had to live through.
I would say, at 14, something happened to me and I ended up with a child. And however horrific that situation is, my son
Mm,
is such an amazing part of my life because at that time, society saw that the statistics said that we would not make it, we wouldn't
mhm.
survive, that I would be a teen mother. Um, and being able to beat the odds and being able to be not you when you are um a child
Yes.
and the adults um position you for failure, you feel the weight of the world is against you, you feel
Mm,
vulnerable and you feel hopeless.
yes.
And so I didn't get to decide whether a child that was um I never like to talk about it, but I didn't get to decide how my son came to this world. And through a situation, let's just call it what it is, through rape, my son comes to me
Yes, ma'am.
at 14 years old. And the
Wow.
world is against every my family, the mosque, the
Mm,
church. I was ostracized. I was told never to come back. I was thrown
wow.
away as trash. Everything defined me as trash.
Oh my
So
goodness.
that's where you get to play the human verdict, right?
Yes.
It's because I've lived a lifetime of this whole entire pain that never nobody cares
Mm,
to understand us. Like, but my son graduates from college. He goes on and goes back to school, gets his master's degree, and we're talking in Washington D.C. about 2 months ago. I went to visit, and
mm,
and we just sat there and looked at each other and said, "We beat them at their own game. We beat them at
yes.
everything that they said we could not be."
Wow.
And so when I got to my first $1 million check or bank account statements, and I was like, you know what you said about me,
Mm,
only way that it could have affected me is if I would have accepted it. But I
yes.
never accepted what the
Wow.
world says, so we serve a lifetime sentence based on things that have happened to us, but
Mm,
we don't have to live in the prison of our minds. So I fire the warden. I don't order a canteen and I don't dare have parties that's called pity. And
yes.
I feel like every single day that I wake up, I have an opportunity to continue beating them at the odds that they claim that would happen to me as
Wow.
a young African American woman.
That is so extraordinary. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I'm so, so sorry for everything you went through, especially as a child, 14 years old. I can't even imagine. Was
Mhm.
there someone who stood by you through that horrific time? Anybody there who still loved you? And
I can only say unconditionally was my mother.
yes, wow.
And
That's,
now that that's gone, sometimes it feels like you're on an island
yes,
and I'm alone.
wow.
And that's where I'm at. I don't and I have never really seen consistency in friendships.
Mm,
I don't know what that feels like. I can't claim something I've never had.
wow. Well, I
I've never
know
had that.
her legacy lives through you. I had a very special relationship with my mother as well. I think women are just no, amazing. It is incredible how much they love and they stand by you no matter what. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. Hopefully, that's going to really inspire a lot of the people who are listening to the show today. I call this leadership and success, and we talk a lot about success today. But many times, the success you achieve is really through the pain you go through. I mean, I've listened to a couple of your songs. I mean, they are very, very powerful. And now I kind of see where that power comes from. I think you are impacting millions of people across this nation, and you definitely have a great purpose. It shows through everything you say. I mean, pretty much if I just take this podcast so far now, we've been on for what about oh my goodness, we're running out of time already. About 30 minutes already. I can't believe that. But every word you say is kind of weighted. No, it really has power to it, and it has the potential to change the life of whoever might be uh, listening. In addition to your mom, were there any people that kind of inspired you throughout your life and career, mentored you, or really taught life into you? Like,
Dr. C.T. Vivian
hmm,
was a civil rights leader, and I moved to Atlanta, Georgia, and I ended up having him become my mentor. We had
yes,
such an amazing coffee one day. Um, Another one would be my principal at a high school I went to. She
hmm,
told me that I am the thinker that thinks the thought that makes things happen.
yes,
So anytime I get a little down and out and feel like, can I really do this? I
hmm,
always remember that she told me that I was the thinker that thinks the thought that makes things happen.
wow,
Maya Angelou is another one of the people that
yes,
I admire
mm,
because she has a story of sexual deviant behavior challenging her life.
mm-hmm,
And she still maintained a presence of class and
yes,
sophistication. And I honor her
yes,
because these are my ancestors of women's shelters that I
mm,
stand on who have gone through sexual deviant behaviors and still were able to maintain and make it.
yes,
And when somebody takes something from you so precious as that jewel,
mm,
you it it's a different breaking.
yes,
It's a different breaking that I don't even believe that my like I said, I studied psychology.
mm-hmm,
Peter J. Freud, Young, none of these scholars who study who we study in psychology have ever really embraced anything that has to do with what breaks in a woman when
yeah,
something like this happens. And so through lived experience, I feel like we're always challenging ourselves. And some
mm,
people have to medicate themselves so that they don't pay attention, so that they don't feel what they felt.
yes,
And so I think that to break your fears in life is to challenge yourself to never give in as a victim to circumstances, to be
mm,
victorious. So I don't tell
yes,
people I'm a victim of sexual deviant behavior. I'm a survivor.
mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Wow. You mentioned Maya Angelou, of course, one of our most famous mentees, Oprah Winfrey, who also went through something so similar. I mean, it's really powerful what you said, right? We stand on the shoulder, you said, of powerful women, and I think that is so true. And of course, one of her most famous poem, and it really touches me every time I read it. This, especially the last stanza when she says, you know, out of the earth of history shame, I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I am a black ocean, leaping and wide. Wailing and swelling, I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise into a daybreak that's wondrously clear. I rise,
All
bringing the
right.
gift that my ancestors gave. I am the dream, and the hope of a slave. I wise, I wise, I wise. That is so powerful.
Mm-hmm. This is the other thing too, when you talk about mentees or people who have come before us, that inspire you. I'm very careful about inspirations. And people, because there's agendas, you know, politicians have their agendas, the Oprahs of the world have their agendas. And it you can be a billionaire but still be a lost cause.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? And so I am a person who believes that it's not what we see in the public sector that inspires me about a person. It's what they do behind closed doors.
Mm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So like, let me just say, people will always say that the first Black woman in hair business that did the hair, that constructed the whole entire situation,
Mm.
is supposedly to be praised for everything that the Black hair industry has evolved to today, right? You would think that, right? Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yes.
Who am I talking about?
Are you talking about the first woman millionaire in American history?
Uh-huh.
Yes,
Okay.
Madame
Madam C.J. Walker.
C.J. Walker. Yes.
So someone would say, Madam C.J. Walker is an inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
Madam C.J. Walker is not an inspiration. Madam C.J. Walker stole the whole entire hair product that she came to market from another Black woman and came to the industry. She's not an inspiration. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of what we've learned in history and in the way that we approach things is so invaluable. It's so corrupted with misleading situations because she was not the first one. The Black woman that she stole it from ended up in depression, ended
Wow.
up becoming an alcoholic, ended up dying without her legacy. And it
Mm.
was done mean. And it isn't something that's not exposed. If you watch the
Mm.
last movie that Madam C.J. Walker did, they talk
Yes.
about that. So people, Black people, particularly,
Mm-hmm.
excuse me, white people, while explain this, is that we will sit there and make all of these higher ups and these gods out of people, out of humans, and not really look to see if they truly impacted our lives positively. Was
Mm-hmm.
there an agenda or an infrastructure? Because if that was the case, we would not have poor Black leadership today. And I think a lot of times we even if so let me just say this, my inspiration to this day will always be Dorothy Day.
Mm-hmm.
Dorothy Day is a white woman who started a Catholic workers movement,
Yeah.
and she was so true to it that she left her New York Times job, moved into a Hull House with the homeless, and she fed out of a soup kitchen that she owned.
Yes.
That's how she succeeded her life, and that was her success story.
Mm.
That to me is impeccable. That is
Wow.
with no agenda. She didn't sleep with anybody. She didn't
Mm-hmm.
break no rules. She didn't steal no situations. So when we start to look at who do we follow, I like the ethos. Who are you? What are you?
Yes.
Because my soul is my own, that I got to get to heaven. And the last thing I do want to follow is somebody taking me to hell,
Mm.
or that is deceiving the people on the front end. And a lot of times when you're working in public relations, oh, baby, you will find deception on the back end. And
Mm.
that helped me to understand that I look at people and I don't care who you are. I don't
Yes.
care about your title, because your title does not make your character nor your integrity. Your
Mm.
title does, you can go get a number of degrees and have a PhD and all of these things, still does not make the heart of people. If that was the case, then the heart of people, if your education in the PhD, how many PhD people do you see on the front line right
Mm.
now trying to help communities?
Yeah.
How
Not.
many people who are speakers, who have voices, use those voices to help articulate messaging to
Mm.
help communities grow. They'll use it if somebody paying them. You want
Yeah.
6 figure, 6, 7 figure incomes, da 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 da. We go
Mm-hmm.
through all of these gimmicky situations, but tell me, how are you using your gift
Mm.
to better to better the community, to help move
Yes.
this thing forward, to see the conditions of other humans who are vulnerable, who don't have the
Mm.
wording, who can't articulate the message? How do you
Yes.
take your gift that you have and help them? Because see, God said the poor will
Mm.
always be amongst us. So if it's all about monetization, I gotta make money, you're really in the business for, you're in it for the wrong reasons. And
Yes.
those people never really truly evolve. They're just on a hamster wheel. They're chasing
Mm-hmm.
the next red bottoms, the next
Mm.
wig, the next suit, the next designer bag, the next designer car. They're just on a
Yes.
hamster wheel. But that's the matrix. The
Wow.
matrix has you to believe, go to school, get married, earn a bunch of degrees.
Mm. That
Wow.
is really powerful
Mhm.
because it reminds me of something else you said, right? About the importance of survivor to have agencies in themselves, right? In conversation and institution designed to help them. So, what has your own journey taught you about the difference between speaking for people and then creating spaces for people to speak for themselves?
Oh my God. That's what PIQSTAR is all about. It is giving people a platform so that their narrative, their stories, their communities has a way to amplify their voices. So
Yes.
just imagine this. You don't have this platform. Nobody has any other type of platform. And the only person that we hear from every single morning
Mm.
is Donald Trump. It's the only story that we hear. That's the only thing that we know. Nobody
Mm-hmm.
has access to anything whatsoever. You can't change the narrative.
Yes.
You can't control the story. So if we have the ability to be able to be heard, like I said, as a kid, I didn't have a voice. The church decided whether I was worthy of coming back. The mons
Mm.
was able to say I was exiled and I could never return.
Yeah.
These were things that as a child, I didn't have a voice. So as an adult, I know how important it is for us to
Mm.
amplify our voices, to say, wait a minute, I don't want to build more prisons. I want preventative measures in my community. So let's build
Mm.
mental health hospitals. Let's
Yes.
build more mental health counseling. Let's put in preventative measures so that we don't have the acceleration of criminal activities in our communities.
Mm-hmm.
People, let me understand the causation of something, and then what is the correlation to how do we correct the situation? How can we be
Yes.
proactive rather than reactive? And I think
Wow.
that that is so important in society today. So what we developed in PIQSTAR is a way for you to have a newsroom. Let's
Yes.
just say you go to television. Well, I'm in 128 countries.
Wow.
I'm
Amazing.
not a social media thread.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a TikTok or any of those things. We give people infrastructure that's
Wow.
sustainable, that provides them with a revenue stream that they will
Mm.
never see working through third party apps like TikTok,
Yeah.
Facebook, and Instagram. You're not going to see the revenue streams that I wake up every morning to, or that
Mm-hmm.
other operators on the platform are. So what if you take your content from just being in a free public platform to where it's recognizable
Mm.
by advertisers, and it's
Yes.
recognizable for you to be able to position your content to get ad revenue streams. Ad
Mm.
buyers spend about $2.6 trillion
Wow.
into the economy. So I don't know about what people are thinking, but I don't know a business that doesn't need
Yes.
exposure, because without exposure, your ass would be invisible. No, just
So
kidding.
true. But what's really important with everything you are saying is it all starts with purpose, doesn't it?
Hmm.
And when you talk a lot about integrity and being true to yourself, both in public but also in
In
private,
private.
and then
Hmm.
making a difference to your community. That is really powerful.
And not just when it's election season.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we have every single day we wake up. Figure out how you can use your talent, your gift,
Yes.
to be able to help somebody else that is less
Wow.
fortunate. Like I said
Man.
before, God said the poor will always be amongst us. My
Yes.
job is to figure out, hey, sis got a great business. How can I help her move that forward? Whether
Yes.
she's Hispanic, white, black,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. My job is to see how can I help and if I can be an asset. And if
Wow.
not, I have a connection in a relationship that I can also share with him or her to help move
Mm.
things forward for them too. We have to start working with a collaborative mindset
Yes.
in order for us to really truly create an ecosystem that we can survive in this
Mm.
administration and going forward. If we
Yes.
never want to see what's happening right now happen again, we
Mm-hmm.
have to be proactive in creating a third space where we, the people, and
Yes.
humanity and our moral obligation to one another is
Mm-hmm.
to create our own ecosystem. We can't allow
Mm.
other systems to treat us like subjects, right?
Wow.
So
That
we
is
have to
powerful.
create, and this is where we are right now. I hope that the rest of the world feels this pain and say to
Mm-hmm.
themselves, this is unlike the pandemic. This is worse than the pandemic because
Yes.
this is a traumatic event that's happening right now to everybody. You're watching where you're
Mm.
going now. You're seeing more black males, and not just black males and females, being
Mm-hmm.
hung from trees. You didn't push us back to the
Mm.
1800s.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is unrealistic to what is happening right now, but it is happening. So
Mm.
what do we have to do each and every day when we get up is we got to figure out how we can connect, how
Yes.
we
Yes.
can align with one another so that we can slow this thing down because hate
Mm.
does not trump love. It will never. No matter what play of cards you got a two in the possible and you play in spades. Hate will
Yes.
never trump what we have to play out if we can spread love, if we
Mm.
can spread relationship, if we can build one another, we will find ourselves in America or abroad, we will
Yes.
find ourselves building out a third space that is for we the people and for humanity. Innately, God placed us here and given us dominion
Mm.
over this situation. So we have power that we have not called on. Dunamis, we have power that we have not called on yet. And I think
Mm.
when Jonah finds himself in the well, or when you are David and you find yourself up against Goliath, you'll know just a pebble
Yeah.
could kill it all. So, needless to say, we have to understand that we are so powerful and innately we are gifted, we are loved. And if we
Mm.
use our energy to build one another, we can deflect, we can get rid of all of the oppression and we can start to develop our own spaces.
That's really powerful. And such space, of course, is PIQSTAR, and people can look on the scroll. It's PIQSTAR.com, and of course, your award-winning platform, Exposure Plus TV.tv. That is so
Thank you.
powerful. Someone from the audience, I think we are almost running out of time, but Daniel says, grateful to hear the wisdom from the show. Ms. Tam, encouraged by your tenacity. Thanks for sharing your testimony. Yeah, your testimony is really powerful. And one question Daniel has is, how have you continued to overcome when so much around you tried to define and name your story? How did you do it?
Oh my goodness. First, putting God first,
Yes.
knowing that He said, I will never leave you nor deceive
Never
you.
forsake you. Yes.
Woo, Lord have mercy, Jesus.
Mm.
Um, and knowing that there is something inside of me that
Mm-hmm.
is burning that I will not allow my child to be birthed into this world as a stillborn. I'm going to
Mm.
give birth to this. So I always think my trimesters is when God downloads content. It is for
Yes.
me to start hitting the ground running. No matter
Mm.
how many negative naysayers claim that we're doing too much. Sometimes I got to say to you, you doing too little.
That ain't got
But,
nothing to do with me. That's
but where
between
does
you and Jesus.
that resilience, that faith, where do you think that comes from? Because for most people, they would just give up.
From one is from never being accepted,
Mm.
from always being an outcast, being a black sheep of my family. I've learned to survive through some of the roughest and toughest times. I moved to the South,
Mm.
and because I didn't represent a sorority, women there wouldn't do business with me that looked like me. Because people think that since you're pretty, there's this confidence level about you that they don't see that you're willing to, like,
Mm.
pretty doesn't make me. Pretty only lasts for so long, but dumb lasts a lifetime.
Wow.
So I chose to not just be what you see on the outside, which
Mm-hmm.
is just a thought of me. On the inside is that little girl who is steady crying every day. I wish I had a friend. I wish
Wow.
that somebody could see me. So that, but if that never happens in this
Mm.
lifetime, I'm going to walk it out. And I'm
Wow.
going to do this thing so greatly that I'm going to be able to do whatever I want. I am the daughter of the one true king, first and foremost.
Yes.
So let me tell you about my daddy. And so, with that being said, I can do all things through Christ that strengthen me. Once again, I lean on that. I don't
Mm.
care about what men say. I don't care about how many books you can read.
Yes.
Whatever the case it is, the scriptures that you write on your heart
Mm.
will
That's
always determine your fate. If
wow.
you say every morning that God, give me the strength and I'll
That's
get
so
it done.
powerful.
Because, see,
Mm.
when you go through the pressing, the wine press, and you go through some hard and difficult times, and you
Yes.
still call on the name of God at the end of the day, and you
Wow.
give God the praise, and you understand that He is omnipotent, all knowing, the
Mm-hmm.
creator, the forever, whatever we go through, I'm
Yes.
good. You know,
Wow.
when you have that presence in your life, I think you can beat it all. They're like all of this is all the matrix. This is just
That's amazing.
it's in a this world was created off of something that was not
Mm.
innately given to us. So there's this thing where I tell people you can go to as many coaches and therapists as you want to. But let me explain to you, no matter how many books you read, innately, whatever you were born here to do and you were brought to
Mm.
this earth to do,
Your purpose. Yeah.
you were already born with purpose. You already have the navigation system. God did not
Mm-hmm.
bring you here absent of that. A
Yes.
rabbit knows to eat carrots.
Mm-hmm.
A snake knows to survive this way. An eagle knows to soar. So,
Yes.
what do you know about you? What do
Wow.
you say about you? What do
That's
you
so
say
powerful.
about you? I say.
Wow.
Because whatever it is that you say about you, that will determine how this thing plays out. And I
So
say about me,
powerful.
I'm a survivor.
Mm.
I say about me, no matter how many friends or how many people ever come into my life and love on me, I'm going to
Yes.
still keep loving on them. I
That
say that I
is
have
so
that in
powerful.
me to do that, right? So you
Wow.
got to choose which road you walk. You
Choose you
you
this
make
day.
that you understand that you have the power to do
Mm.
all that you need to have done in your life. But it is the whatever you say about you, that is true.
Yes. Wow, that is so powerful. All right, let's end with this. We are not out of content, but definitely out of time. I could be talking to you, Miss Tam, for forever, maybe another 3 or 4 or 5 hours. You have
Well, not a problem. Thank you for having me,
so much
darling.
wisdom. But I must ask you, what would you say to someone who's listening right now, who has survived something difficult, but they haven't yet figured out how or whether to turn that experience into purpose the way you did? What would you tell them?
One is always remember, never let your calling take you where your character can't show up.
You have to say that again. Wow, so powerful.
Never let your calling take you where your character can't show up.
Wow.
Two is always be concerned about what you allow to speak into your life, even if it comes out your own mouth.
Mm.
And when people say things that you don't believe about you, immediately rebuke it and send it back into the source in which it came. I'm very clear about that.
Yes.
So when I hear people say certain things that diminish the value or try to articulate what the world says. So the world say we can only do this, and the world says you're only able to do this. Excuse me? Because I don't understand I don't conform to anything that the world says. The world can have what they want to say, but see, God said innately,
Mm.
I gave you the gift to do whatever your heart desires. So I'm gonna go with that one. So and I think
So
that
powerful.
when people have faith, faith is orchestrated in 3 dimensions. You got baby faith, and that's that I think,
Mhm.
you tiptoe into situations, right? Then you got that medium, well, I'm gonna take a drink faith, and I believe that if I drink this, God gonna die. Then you got meat faith, baby. That's that
Yes.
real tough, that's that faith that's unshakable.
Hmm.
And that sometimes people even think you crazy.
Wow.
That's that faith that I got. Unshakable, crazy faith. I believe that you can
Mm.
do all things. And so you got to get that. And not from an institution or church.
Hmm.
People get it confused. You have to have a relationship with God. I
Powerful.
wake up every day, Daddy, what's up? What we doing today? Where we going,
Hmm.
Daddy? Every day I'm bouncing in there. And
Yes.
that's how I wake up because we gonna go get it today, Jesus.
Mm.
What's today? What meeting do we have? And I walk into those meetings with that confidence, knowing that I'm gonna close. And if I
Yeah.
don't close, any rejection is the Lord's protection.
Mm.
Remember that. Sometimes you think, oh, I didn't get this. Well, why didn't I get this? Excuse me, God is protecting you. Because
Yeah.
see, he heard what they said when you went in the room.
Mm. It's really about the mindset, isn't it? How you, wow, that is powerful. All right. As we end the show, Miss Lawrence, I do want to ask, someday the interviews will stop, right? The camera will turn off. The companies will belong to another generation, and all of us become part of somebody else's story. When that day comes, what do you hope people say about Ms. Tam Lawrence? And who do you hope become stronger because you were here?
Oh my God. One, first and foremost, my granddaughter.
Yes.
Everything that Nana did, she laid a foundation for a legacy to
Mm.
continue to ensure that her children
Wow.
never suffer. So today I work every day knowing that I want to make sure that my granddaughter, children never suffer. I
Mm.
want the world to know that she was fearless. She advocated for others,
Yes.
and she was no nonsense at what she had to get done. She did it anyway, even
Wow.
if it hurt her. So that's
That's
it.
so powerful. So powerful. Okay, we do have to end the show, ma'am. So, what can we do to add value back to you? How
Oh
can
my
we add
God.
value to you?
So let's do it. So one, I want you to go over and do recommendations on my LinkedIn profile.
Yes.
Because if I did something for you, if you heard something today, uh, write whatever you may write on that.
Mhm.
Visit Exposure Plus TV
Yes.
TV and
Mhm.
subscribe. It's 100% free to subscribe to Exposure Plus TV.
And you have an app as well, right, for the iPhone and the
You
Android?
can go to iPhone, Android, Google TV,
Yes.
Apple TV, Amazon Fire Stick, and then we're on
Roku?
United, and we're also on Roku. I'm so sorry. Yes, we are on Roku. And there is over 5,000 different movies you can watch. So
Wow.
support, go over, watch movies. There's animation for children. There's cooking shows. There are just a
Mm.
ton of different things that you can watch. If you're a person of fashion, There is the
Yes.
Savant channel. The Savant channel has high-end fashion. I love that. If you didn't get a chance to go to the International Black Theater Festival in Winston-Salem, you can watch that on the network right now. It is
Mm-hmm.
streaming on the Venue channel. And then the next one after that is if you are somebody that is truly interested in having your own show, then go over to PIQSTAR. So if you want to go and have your own television show, if we go to the homepage on PIQSTAR, you
Mm.
can click on those links, set up an appointment, and meet
Yeah.
with one of my amazing and incredible experts in media, and they'll
Amen.
get you set up where you can get your own custom channel. So if
Wow.
you want to take your podcast over, you could take it over to television. If you have any video pre-recorded content or
Mm-hmm.
live stream content, we can move live stream events in real time onto the platform as well. So the best place to go is to pickstar.com and register today, or just to set an appointment, and let's get the conversation going so we can go ahead and get you into the system and start the distribution. So the component PIQSTAR, this is important real quick because I don't want people, if we can just go back to PIQSTAR real quick, I just want to
Mm-hmm.
do this real quick and then I know we got to
Yes.
go, is PIQSTAR is a public benefit corporation infrastructure. So everything that this company does, it has to be in the best interest of the public.
Mm.
And that is, we are governed by that. So the state of Wisconsin oversees PIQSTAR to make sure that we're doing what we say we're going to do.
Yes.
Our job is to provide people with operating systems and distribution. So this is the operating division for Exposure Plus TV.
Mm.
So with PIQSTAR, we are saw as a utility, like your water, your
Yes.
electricity, and this kind of thing. So when you come into the PIQSTAR world, and let's say that you get in channel, you actually have fundability. That means that you can fill out foundations and grants
Mm.
and utilize and get funding for your channel through
Yes.
PIQSTAR, because PIQSTAR is your mothership, which creates the infrastructure. Exposure Plus TV gives you stability and governance. Those
Mm-hmm.
are the three things that they ask us for in a factor. And because we are between the 501c3 and the 501c4, we are a PBC, we have fundability. So we grounded our whole entire company on making sure all of our business partners, associates can use what we have, and you
Mm.
can inherit that. And now you too you can get grants,
Yes.
donations, you can take in sponsors, you
Wow.
can get
That's amazing.
advertisement. Yeah, so it's an ecosystem that allows people to take their media and create it into an asset instead of a thread. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And finally, can you tell us is so powerful?
Oh, my Substack. If you let me get
Yes,
back
sir.
into it, I don't know. I actually locked myself out of Substack. Don't tell nobody but God,
Really?
okay? Um, yeah, honey.
Because
I done got old and I can't remember the password.
but you have so
But
much there because
my
you got your podcast and you have a bunch of posts and article, and it also connects, I believe, right, to the TV too.
yes. Thank you so much for sharing it. But to tell you the truth, I am not gonna play with you. I have locked
Okay.
myself out, so I gotta get
All right.
back in my Substack. But it's a
But
beautiful piece, though.
mhm.
A lot of what I put over there is things to kind of help advocate for senior care. First and
Yes.
foremost, with my grandmother, a horrific story.
Mm.
We'll save it for another day if you want to come back.
Yes.
Because my grandmother did 40 something years with the IRS, and she was an executive over in Chicago for the what is it, the Internal Revenue Services.
Mm-hmm.
And so my grandmother was like 92 years old at the time, and my uncle passed, which was her caregiver. So the agency tried to take my grandmother that was working with my uncle to, to give cares, because she was 24
Mm-hmm.
hours a day. The Armenian man who owned the agency tried to avoid contacting the family and take guardianship of my grandmother, who owns
Oh,
several properties in Hyde Park. When he did this, we hired a PI to find my grandmother at University Hospital
wow.
and was trying to bring her home. The caseworkers at the hospital had already contacted the courts, and they were already moving forward without
Hmm.
acknowledging any of the family. Um, because the Armenian man told them that we did not exist.
Oh my
So
goodness.
that they were the last and final survivors or living relatives of one another, my uncle and my grandmother. She didn't have
Mm,
no grandkids. So the courts move in and they take us through probate. We can't take my grandmother home. But when my sister mentions to the courts that my grandmother owns some properties in Hyde Park, tells her about her, financials or
mhm.
whatever, they immediately awarded my grandmother to the state and took her from us.
Oh my goodness. That's
Yeah.
terrible.
So, I tell people about probate court. I became a licensed guardian. In 2014, I became a registered state lobbyist in Wisconsin.
Mm,
So I'm very versed on politics and
yes.
laws and things of this nature. So we tried to fight for my grandmother to bring her home. And in the interim of doing that, my grandmother died on July 16th.
So sorry to hear that. Wow.
So she knew that there was a fight going on, but she didn't
Hmm.
want me and my sister to suffer no more. And I believe that she was giving up. I know when we talked to her at the nursing home
Yes.
and we were trying to let her know, like, hey, grandma, we're gonna bring you home. Everything is gonna be okay. She looked like, y'all got to go back to work and y'all got to do what you got to do for yourselves. Don't worry about
Mm,
me. And that was the kind of family, those are the kind of women who I grew up with. So I knew what
yes.
she was saying. I knew that tonight would probably be the last night we speak to her. And
Mm,
I still went home and I got with an attorney. We figured out a way to be able to win my grandmother home. And on the day that we were
yes.
going to court, my sister said she died.
Wow. I'm so sorry to hear
Mhm.
that. But throughout all of that experience, what did you learn from it?
First and foremost, probate court has never changed since the essence or the development of it.
Hmm.
This is a country that is built off Elizabethan monarchy.
Hmm.
And so if we know anything about the Elizabethan monarchy, that in the end, probate court, because they work from a judicial funding, they are building their retirement off of our grandparents and off of anybody's estate, because the courts work from a custodial standpoint. And as a
Yeah.
custodial, what they say is if you can't take care of your business, you hire the courts. The courts then have the right to confiscate all of your assets to pay
Mm,
its cost, right? And that's just how the system works. But anywho,
I see.
I am so amazing in terms of center care. And that's what I tell you. Everything that hurt me, I
Yes.
wouldn't start it. Every time I feel like, okay, wait a minute, this system is going to break some people, we got
Yes.
to make sure that we create infrastructure so that people have real answers in real time.
Mm,
So now, as a licensed guardian, with Centercare, it's my advocacy program.
hmm.
People can call me and just ask me questions. Honey, I done went through 4 deaths already. It's not about grief. It's also how do you manage in the end. So I don't
Yes.
do grief counseling, but I can tell you asset stuff that you need to know. And a lot of times
Wow.
people will go to an attorney or asset manager. These two individuals have an intent and an
Mm,
agenda, and they're there to do business. I'm not there to do business.
wow.
I'm there to advocate on your behalf to make sure that you make the right decisions.
Wow.
So somebody say, I have an attorney for that. I can guarantee you that your attorney is in business to make money. Listen, it says that he's practicing law. Didn't make him
Uh,
omnipotent and all knowing. So at the end of the day, his job is to do exactly what he's doing, and that is
mm,
to practice on you and to be able to make money from you. When it comes to these estate planners, same situation. Nobody
yeah.
tells you about the fine print that you didn't know existed. So,
Mm,
Center Care is a program that I promote and I advocate for and created that is
Yes.
working towards truth in reporting. So
Mm-hmm.
Care is about senior care, truth in reporting. People, we need that truth in reporting so that you know not to take your grandmother to this nursing home.
Yes.
You
Yes.
need truth in reporting so that you know the corruption behind an agency. Right
Mm-hmm.
now, they have something called a secrecy act. So nursing homes don't have to publicly tell you how many people have died in a facility. They
Mm.
don't have to publicly report neglect or abuse. They
Wow.
hide behind this senior care secrecy act that allows them to get away with some of the most egregious
Mm.
conditions. And so then you think, oh, well, no, we have all of these different directories that are on
Yes.
online. There is the parents, this, website for senior care, right?
Mm-hmm.
None of these programs is actually ran to give you truth in reporting on the nursing homes. They actually delete bad reviews because on the back end of it, these companies get paid a commission for wherever you place your grandmother. So you trust
Wow.
cares.com, and cares.com is giving 5 stars to a nursing home that has a ton of complaints and abuse and neglect things against it, and they
Yes.
give them 5 stars when they really a 1 star without even a whole provisional star. They shouldn't even have any stars. But
Hmm.
at the end of the day, this is the system of deception that we are working in as our parents are aging out. Mhm.
Man, thanks so much for being such a great advocate. And I have added it on the tracker. That's seniorcare.com for people to find out more information, right? And if they can reach out to you for help if they need it.
Mhm.
Seniorcare.com. Okay, got it.
Yes.
All right.
It's been a
So
long one.
thank you so much, Ms. Lawrence, for your time on the show. We didn't even have a chance to talk about your books. Maybe I need to bring you back because I think those books were
Yes.
so informative. And I want everybody to get a copy. They're all available on Amazon, a strategic planning guide for business owner and public relations campaign, but also your second book, which was Mastering the Art of News, Creating Newsworthy Stories for Entrepreneur. That you've really done so much, and I really love your purpose and the impact you are having. So as we close the show, is there a question I should have asked you I didn't get a chance to ask, ma'am? Anything else you wanted to share?
No, I think we did an amazing job. I want to first and foremost say
Thank
thank
you.
you. Thank you for thinking about
Thank you
me.
so
Thank
much.
you for seeing me. That
I
means the
appreciate that.
world to me right now. And I do not want to cry or choke, but I just want to say thank you for seeing me.
Thank you, ma'am. Really appreciate that. Man, you are a
Mhm.
light that shines in the darkness for sure. The very last question I'm going to ask you, ma'am, is for all of the entrepreneur, journalists, all of the survivor, the creator, and the leaders who are watching us right now, if they have something meaningful inside of them, like you did, but they are still waiting for permission for someone to validate them before they act, what do you want to say to them?
Never allow anyone to speak into your life, first and foremost, that does not have your best interest at heart.
Hmm.
And just remember that you can do all things through Christ that strengthen you. Go
Yes.
back to the child like you.
Hmm.
Don't allow the pain from things that happen to you to
Yes.
decide tomorrow. The decisions you make
Wow.
today will determine your tomorrow. I can guarantee you that.
Well,
I
with
do.
that, we have to end. So much
I
wisdom and
know.
really, really, really grateful. I am so grateful you took the time to speak to us today. We actually went an extra 30 minutes. Very sorry for that, but you have so much to say and your message really is preaching. Thank you so much, Ms. Tam Lawrence. We really appreciate you. And thank you for
Thank
doing what you
you.
do.
All
Bye.
right. Have a blessed day.
All right, everyone. This one is really for the book now. Thank you so much for watching. This is it for today. I believe I'm going to have another interview, not tomorrow, but day after tomorrow for our Black History Year. Right now, we still have General Chappie James, the very first African American 4-star general in the branch of services in the U.S. military. And I believe by tomorrow, I will have 2 articles about the Honorable Andrew Young, and I was inspired by Ms. Tam Lawrence to write those 2. And our friend in the spotlight this week is Brigadier General Twanda E. Young. So grateful for all of you watching and supporting the show. And until next time, have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye for now.
Thank you for tuning in to the Leadership and Success Podcast with your host, Coach BZ. If today's episode added value to your leadership journey, be sure to subscribe, share, and join us again for more wisdom nuggets on how to lead better and achieve greater success. Remember, leadership is the most critical skill of our time. The world will always need leaders to inspire others, drive innovation, and execute meaningful strategy. So why not count yourself among the bold leaders shaping the 21st century? Until next time, stay inspired, stay committed, and keep leading with excellence.